Hey everybody, this is Ed Bajeski from Friday Night Vinyl, shouting out saying, hey, how's it going? It's been a while. We got some things coming up, but want to do a couple little shorts here and there, and probably do some little shorts here with Lenny and also with Lenny and Bill. More on that stuff in a different video, maybe tomorrow. So one of the things, I'm 60. I'm not gonna, I'm older, and there's a lot of people who say things like, there isn't any good music out there, and I'm listening to the same things, over and over again, and all that stuff. And that's good, and there is good music out there. Unfortunately, it's not like it was when we were younger, and it was kind of like handed to us. It's more now. You really have to dig, search, and hopefully like a friend of a friend. And if you have kids, that helps too, because they're playing some of the stuff that they like. And when most of it's yours, that doesn't help. But every once in a while, they'll find something and say, "Hey, Mom and Dad, let's check this out." That being said, one of the things that I believe is true is we liked a lot of different bands when we were younger. We had a big range of music. We didn't have a big range of money. And if we probably could take the money we make now, travel back in time to our youth, we probably would have went to every concert, almost 95% of them, even if it was a band we weren't sure we liked back then. We probably would have went just for the experience, for those who really like music. There would be, I missed out on seeing the Grateful Dead. Not a Deadhead person, but I wanted to go and experience it, and I got around to that way of thinking a little too late after Jerry Garcia passed, and that's who I would have wanted to see as a guitar player. That being said, there are some bands from our youth that we know and we are familiar with, a couple albums, and what I did, and I'm just going to do two groups today, that I liked, and I'm going to show you the albums that I liked, and we all liked these albums, and I said, you know what, there's nothing else to do, let me dig back in their catalog and get albums that I didn't get, and give them a listen. So the first band I'm going to talk about here is Leonard Skynyrd. Okay, and of course, I don't know how the screen's going to be, but everybody knew this album. It's what song do you want to hear? Freebird. And here it is, what? Over 45 years, and there's still going to be some knucklehead at a concert that's going to yell at Freebird. And if a band has any clue and they want to joke around and say, what songs that you want to hear, you're going to hear people say Freebird. And we probably got more into the live version of Freebird, and there was like Gimme 3 Steps, Sweet Home Alabama, and these were songs that we kind of knew as singles before the live album, but this live album really brought a lot more to everybody's attention, because what happened is you probably bought this album because of the songs that you knew, and then realized, wow, there's a lot of other good songs on that. So let me put this down. The next one that we all had was Street Survivors. And sadly, when this album came out, and this album cover was pulled right after, and it became a full black background, because unfortunately they did die in a, not all of them, but several in a plane crash. And this album, that whole thing made me really sad, because this album really took them up a notch. This album, from start to finish, other than the hits, had a lot of great stuff. So I was thinking, you know what? I like this, and I like the other album. Let's give it a go. And I went out, and we'll just go here. Make sure I have everything. And let's see here. Maybe I should have put these in order ahead of time. I got Leonard Skynyrd. It's the first album, and then we went out and we've got Second Helping, and Give Me Back My Bullets, And the final one is, what is this here? Nothing Fancy. And I put these 4 albums on and listened to them, and I was just like, first off, I'm a person who really, really loves the blues. And I love the blues with a really good, I mean, I like the pure blues, well, without sidetracking, like Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and all that. But I also like a honky-tonk kind of blues with the really good piano player. And I will say, the one thing that's amazing on these recordings is the piano was just brilliantly recorded. And it really comes forth, and a lot of this stuff is just good rock and blues stuff. No, not everything's a hit. But I never got to the point with any of these 4 albums where it's like, you know what, let me pick up the needle and move it or flip the side. It was good. And if you like the first 2 albums of Leonard Skynyrd and you're looking for something new, something that you didn't listen to when you were a kid, I would highly recommend going back in the Leonard Skynyrd discography. Now, mind you, I do understand that Leonard Skynyrd put albums out afterwards, and yes, they may be good, but the band was the band up until the crash, in my opinion. And I'm grateful that they kept on the legacy, and sad things continued to happen to this band down the road. But yeah, I would definitely recommend these albums to go back on. Even if you're on Spotify or if you have CDs or whatever, go back and give them a listen. Just put them from start to finish, and you may agree, you may not agree, but I'm sure you'll comment and let me know. So the next band, we're going to start off with this. This is one of the first 2 rock albums I ever listened to in my life. They were a good friend of mine's older brother, had a couple albums down in the basement, and it was like, wow, they look cool, let's put them on. And the album is called Shades of Deep Purple. And this is their first album, and this is the one that has Hush on it. And this was, I believe, Rod Evans was the lead singer with the band there. But I really like this album, and going back and listening to it again, it really had that, what I would consider that psychedelic guitar sound. And I mean, Ritchie Blackmore was all over the place, but it really had a tone that I would just put for like psychedelic music. I can't describe it any other way than that. So I had this. Maybe not everybody did, but the next album, I'm going to bet mostly everybody had. And that will be Machine Head. And 2 tracks on this are all you need to know: Smoke on the Water and Highway Star. And I'm sure out there, Highway Star probably created 30% of speeding tickets during its day when this album was out, because if you either it came on the radio, or if it came on because you had an 8-track in your car. That was the first thing before cassettes, CD players, and anything else. If this song came on, you would find that pedal going a little bit heavier on the gas. So Machine Head was definitely, and it's to me one of the all-time top 10 heavy metal hard rock albums ever, in my humble opinion. Next, if you got Machine Head, then you went out and you got Made in Japan, which again, this is also in my top 5 ever best live albums ever. And unlike The Song Remains the Same by Led Zeppelin, where I was hoping it would have songs from Physical Graffiti on it, and it didn't because it was recorded before that album, this has Highway Star on it, this has Smoke on the Water, and definitely a great album. So, I decided, let's dig into the Deep Purple catalog. Now, one of the things with going back in the catalogs on vinyl is, first, the album has to be available. So if you're going to say, well, you're missing this and you're missing that, then, it's more than likely because it wasn't available on 180 gram. So we'll just go here, and this album here is called Who Do We Think We Are? So this was the last album with Ian Gillan on it, and I was listening to it as I'm playing it. I'm out, in the other room doing some things, and I hear the lyrics, how did you lose your virginity, Mary Long? The song is called Mary Long. And I'm like, is it saying, how did you lose your virginity in a song? And I'm listening. So, did a little research. And the song is about a person named Mary Whitehouse and another person named Lord Longford. And they were kind of snooty Brits, either socialites, politicians. That part I'm not sure, but they were people who had some influence, and they were all about the morals and all that. Think of them maybe as like the Jerry Falwell type, or the moral majority of the UK. And it was kind of like they were looking at this as like these people are like total hypocrites, and most of those people who preach being prude and prudish and wholesome and all that are usually the worst people out there. But I found that to be rather interesting. Anyway, next. So I was looking, and I swear I have it, but I got so many albums at one time. Sometimes I think I have it and I don't. Sometimes I don't think I have it and I got it and I get it a second time and I end up having to take it back. But I did not see Fireball, and that was another good one. That one, I believe Fireball came out, I'm not sure if that one was after or before. I should have did a little more homework on that, but Machine Head, I think it came out right before, and it was kind of a pace that was leading up to that. So there are some Deep Purple fans out there who put Burn better than Machine Head, and I'm going to say I get it. This is the first album with David Coverdale. This album does rock from start to finish, where you may see a little bit of lagging on something like Lazy. You might not be as heavy as the other stuff on Machine Head. But yeah, this album here, I can't argue with the people who say this is better, because I get it. I can see a very close comparison. But this, if you're going to get anything that you don't have by Deep Purple, I would go with Burn first. And then after Burn, we have another live album. They followed up another live album. This one is called Made in Europe, and this is with David Coverdale on lead vocals. This one not as successful as Made in Japan, but still a decent live album, and obviously same setup as Made in Japan, except this one obviously is Made in Europe. Moving along, we have Stormbringer, another album, and this is also David Coverdale on vocals, and another decent album. There was a little bit of a falling off with some of these as some things just kind of lost their energy, and I'm not sure if it was this album or the final album that I have up here, but we'll put this here. Okay, and this one is Come and Taste the Band, and the other one may also, I didn't check, but Tommy Bolin played guitar on this. Now as a kid, I remember guitar player friends, before I started playing guitar, talked about Tommy Bolin, and I used to always, was always getting confused with Mark Bolin, who was T-Rex, but there was, Tommy Bolin, Ritchie Blackmore were big, like, guitar gods at one point before your Eddie Van Halens and and things like that, Randy Rhoads and all that. I think because Ritchie Blackmore kind of fell off doing his gothy medieval stuff, that just Blackmore's Night, that I think people just haven't been able to stay in tune. Now mind you, I don't have it, but they did come out with that reunion album, which was Perfect Strangers, which is another great album. But I think on the list, that's an album you already know and you're already familiar with the songs on that. But Tommy Bolin, was on this album. He also replaced the guitar player in James Gang, and his final tour, his tour was with, in 1976, it was Peter Frampton was the headliner, Jeff Beck, and Tommy Bolin. And after a show in Miami, unfortunately, Tommy Bolin in 1976 died of a heroin overdose. So, that's it. We're going to do some little shorts. Some different topics, and it looks like Petey's here. I don't know if you can see him, but maybe he'll pop up here. But no, but he's probably going to bump the camera stand. But anyway, thanks for watching. Stay focused on Friday Night Vinyl. Hey, feel free to invite your friends to the page. We don't have a public thing here. It's, you know, on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. You'll be notified anytime we put up new videos. And that's it. Thank you very much.